sellers and indeed many executives, they don't understand what the manufacturing in the right way. And so they sort of assume that the goal of the manufacturing model, this great success that lean and operational excellence has had around the world, that it's due to minimizing variation and maximizing mechanization. And that I'm saying that's essentially not true. Because in nature, variation is inherent. There's always variation. In a manufacturing, it's particularly late in the manufacturing process, when you have variation, you can have things that go wrong, called defects, right? We don't want those. It's a variation that we don't want. What we want is the product to meet the specification. So we're kind of maximizing one kind of variation and minimizing another. Most of the product is pretty high quality. You want to maximize the quality so you have 99% yields or 6 sigma yields really high. But on the other end of the process, where the customer hasn't even heard of you before, it's not uncommon to put an advertisement out and have 1 million people see it. And only a tiny fraction would respond. That's the kind of variation we want. We want more of that, not a defect, right? So the thing is, you can use the idea of variation and applied statistics to identify what causes those things. In Six Sigma, we use applied statistics to identify the causes of variation we don't want. In the other end of the spectrum, you can use applied statistics to identify the causes of the variations that we do want, right? So the whole issue is to create something somebody wants. Only then can you identify what the waste is. Waste is the dependent idea. Value is the independent idea. It's the essential thing we're trying to do. So that means in manufacturing, you want more of what people want. The right hoses and filters and fittings and the right technician. You want the right pizza topping at the right temperature at the right time. You want the right vehicle with the right options. You don't want defective missing products, burnt cold pizza, warranty problems, assembly and quality problems. In sales, you want the right market awareness, the right positioning, the right channel partners, the right network, the guys who have the right knowledge, the right prospect, the right needs, right funding, right? You want all this. You don't want the wrong marketing, websites nobody reads, market relationships that are poor, that don't really access the market, people who aren't competent, right? Prospects and customers that don't recognize your value. So if you're looking, it's not about minimizing variation, it's about minimizing the wrong kind and maximizing the right kind. And it's also not about maximizing mechanization. I mean, sometimes we don't want to talk to a salesperson. Who wants to go back to the days when you had to wait on hold and explain to the travel agent on the phone exactly where you would want to go and have them tell you 16 different, you have to, now where am I going through Frankfurt or am I going through, no, you can go on, you can pick out your own plane flights now. All those people are out of a job. Not all of them, but I mean a lot of them. It's been obsoleted. If you can do a job with a web page, most people would prefer to use a web page. Who would have guessed 30 years ago that customers would prefer to enter their own orders? Order entry was something, it was a laborious, tedious task you had to hire people to do, and they're punching stuff in the computer, and now customers are doing it, right? So if you can do a job with a web page, if you can sell something with a web page, why should you use a salesperson? Use the salespeople for stuff that only salespeople can do. That's true. But not mechanization for mechanization's sake. This is an interesting kind of an exercise. In fact, I think your page, I don't know.